Welcome back. I'm Jessica Devereaux. In the headlines right now, heads of state from nearly 200 countries are congregating in Copenhagen, hoping to hammer out a climate change deal. Earlier today, Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton in Denmark came just ahead of President Obama, who tried to breathe new light into the dampening talks. With negotiations stalled, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton announced the U.S. would, after all, join an international climate impact relief fund for the poorest and most vulnerable nations.
The United States is prepared to work with other countries toward a goal of jointly mobilizing $100 billion a year by 2020 to address the climate change needs of developing countries.
But, said Clinton, there must be transparency in verifying every country's promised emissions cuts, a clear reference to China, which is reported to be still refusing to allow outside monitoring. All day, heads of state and government have been describing a planet already degrading under the heat.
No one can honestly deny that without common action, rising sea levels could wipe whole nations from the map.
We face the nightmare of humanity becoming the species that dies out just as a parasite does as it devours its host.
Australia's Prime Minister Kevin Rudd said if wealthy nations curb emissions but poor countries don't,
climate change is no respecter of persons. Whether it is in the washing away of villages in Tuvalu, whether it is the 30 million people of the most vulnerable of the world in low-lying areas of Bangladesh.
U.S. President Barack Obama is expected to arrive and address the summit tomorrow morning. The big question now is whether or not China will assure the international community that it will cut back its emissions. Many U.S. lawmakers are worried that any agreement without external inspections of the Asian powerhouse would give China a competitive edge in world markets.